your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and
Right, audio's live. You got 1 minute left,
Oh
Craig.
dear.
Oh no!
You got 1 minute, Craig. People are watching. Craig is eating a salad with a plastic fork.
I know. Save me,
Or is it a spork? Is it a spork or a
No.
fork? Alright, yeah.
Quality,
Oh, yeah.
quality plastic fork.
No sports here. And I'll make sure I will not blow my nose on camera because nobody wants to see that shit, so.
Shit out, you know.
I think you should straight up just be like,
Right, yeah, right. That'll get viewers in.
yeah.
Well, I don't know, mine. Weird shit. I think
That's
I'll
awesome. Alright, I'm ready. Enough.
Right, you want some intro shit?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Right.
Well,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to episode 563 of your Overseas Connection podcast. Today is January 26th, 2020, and yeah, we're a video game podcast. We talk about games, we talk about life, we talk about kind of anything and everything. We'd like to think of ourselves as a bit more wise and more intelligent than the average young gamer, but let's be honest, that is totally false and not true. What we do, yes, I said that. We broadcast every week. Sundays, 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 3 p.m. Central Time Zone, because we can't forget about Kim.
I hope not.
We are on Twitch. We're on Mixer. We are on YouTube when YouTube likes us. We also will post out a audio version of the podcast. So should you not be able to join us live in our loveliness and partake in the chat, then you can listen to us on Memorex and listen to us recorded. I noticed we don't have any birthdays to highlight, but I feel remiss if we didn't mention one particular person's birthday that kind of just happened.
Yeah, Eric. Happy birthday, Eric.
Yeah, I know. Fantastic. Happy birthday, Eric. Congratulations
No one
on
else is,
another
was there?
birthday. Yeah, I don't think anybody else of importance had a birthday,
Yeah.
so we could just gloss over this section. I mean, the only other people that would have had a birthday, they would have been really old.
Yeah. Oh, Nicole had a birthday this past week. Happy birthday, Nicole.
You might regret that, Mark.
Eh.
That
Oops.
yeah.
Hate mail.
Yeah. So there's that. So yeah, Eric, Nicole.
No one else
I feel
was
like
there.
I'm getting. I don't know. Yeah.
The epitome.
there's-
The epitome. Something
Yeah.
rings a bell with that.
Yeah, epitome. It does ring a bell. It makes me think of really old, getting ready to pass the torch, pass on, but potato loving. That's also part of the epitome.
Mexican?
Possibly Northern Irish, Mexican-ish. Yeah, Robin Tate. Robin Tate. He had a birthday. Holy shit, is that guy old? Oh my god.
He has
The
more
Friends and the
birthdays.
Metamucil out now.
He seems to have 2 birthdays to our one. I don't know how that works.
I know. I don't either, but apparently he's had he has a birthday like every 5 months. Maybe he's part
Weird.
cat. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, I think we should pour one out for poor old Robin, and for anybody else who's had a birthday, let's sing him a song.
All right, hang on. Oh, for Robin. Right, that's enough of that shit.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm clipping
Let
that.
us move on.
Timestamp.
Let us-
Time with that.
Yep. Timestamp that. Let's move into some story time.
Hooray, it's story time. Hooray, it's story time. I'm so glad to be with you today.
All right. Story time. Mark, it's been forever and a day since I've podcasted with you.
Yeah.
Actually,
hasn't it?
you know,
Just before Christmas,
I-
wasn't it?
No, but you know what? Look, I screwed up here. I was so wrapped up in celebrating the old man's birthday. I forgot to introduce the two of you on the podcast. Mark Wright. Mark Wright.
Yes, Mark
You're-
Alex
you're
on
back.
Xbox Live, PSN, Steams. Yeah, I'm here again. 2 weeks on the trot. Eee.
Fantastic.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And much younger than Robin, Kim Woods on the
Thank
podcast.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah.
Just
that's
just
me,
for
Gamer Girl
just for
27.
clarification, we're both younger than Robin.
Yeah,
All
it
three
is,
of us
fair
are
enough.
younger
All
than
three of
Robin.
us.
We're- I was gonna say we're all younger than
just
Rob.
saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Robin
The
is
oldest.
technically the oldest man in video gaming. Period. Straight up, oldest man in video gaming. So thank you both for joining today. Everybody else couldn't be bothered. Robin obviously was taking his senior nap in the evening, so he couldn't make the show. Phil clearly had better things to do. Watching paint dry on the wall, I think, is what he said he was going to be doing. So that made sense. Pete, drunk again. I mean, seriously, how is that guy ever sober?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Mr. Webster, he fainted. He gave us the faint last week. He said, "Oh, I'm on the podcast," and then he quickly did the duck and move and
went to bed
he
at
hasn't
8
been
o'clock.
seen since. Yep. Hasn't been seen since. And then Gary DeFelice was last seen at a children's pickup game of basketball.
Gary?
Yeah. Exactly.
Anything to keep from podcasting. You know.
Exactly.
I've noticed his Garcast is out every week, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Priorities,
think-
Gary.
I think he
It's
likes
gonna-
it more than we do, or something.
Look, there's going to come a time here soon that we will be burying the podcast name Gary DeFelice.
Uh-oh.
Once again, although Gary has this bad habit of when he gets on a podcast, he kills it.
Yeah.
This is one podcast where we will actually kill him and move on. But yeah, so it's the three of us. It's quaint. It's nice. Beginning of the year. We haven't done a prediction show yet. I think that's something that we need to kind of get going soon. Maybe next weekend, since the Super Bowl's next weekend.
I
won't be here.
predict Gary won't be on for the next 3 months.
No Gary predictions of not being on the show will be allowed.
Aw.
No, that's just too easy, Mark. Come on,
Yeah.
that's like the sky is blue. I mean,
It's not in England.
So,
It's been grey.
For the rest of the known world, the sky usually is blue, but in England, you're right, it is
Yeah,
gray.
it's grey. Yeah.
Except for when I came.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you brought your own sunshine. So
I
there you
did.
go.
I packed it in the suitcase and I took it back with me, by the way.
There you go.
And we've
All
not
right.
seen it since.
I don't think you guys have. Stories. Mark, let's talk some stories. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? And for us?
Just a very chilled out week, really. Not really done that much. A little bit of gaming, not too much. Not got my full mojo back yet, but I'm still watching a lot of TV. I mentioned last week I finished watching Titans season 2, so we've started a new series this week. Well, not a new one, but a new season. And this was down to pressure from our missing Ginger, Pete, because he loves this as well. Vikings. I've been waiting to binge them all in one go because season 6 is out now, but they're releasing it weekly, and I like to watch a lot of them like over a few days. But it says, "Oh, you got to be careful of spoilers." So I thought, okay, I better catch up. So the last few days I've watched all of the 7 episodes which were available at the time. Episode 8 is out now. I've not seen that yet, but yeah, great episodes. I love Vikings. It's fantastic. You've seen this, haven't you, Kim? You used to watch Vikings.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a little behind, but yeah.
Yeah, and so it's never been the same since some of the main characters aren't sort of in it anymore. But it's still got the grasp on me. But 2 massive things have happened this season, which I won't spoil, obviously. So it's all up in the air at the moment. So it's got my attention again. So I'm looking forward to catching up on episode 8. But yeah, fantastic, really
Nice.
gory and just well acted. Cinematography is really good. A lot of it's done on location in Scandinavia and everything. Just brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, I never got into the Vikings, and I think it's because when the Vikings was coming out, there was another series that was, I want to say it was Stars, Black Sails.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
yeah.
Yep.
I've not seen
And
that
I
yet,
got
but it's on
into
my
Black
list.
Sails,
Yeah.
and it just it derailed me from Vikings, and then I got into Game of Thrones, and it further derailed me from Vikings. So one of these days I might look to try and watch it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
The first 4 seasons of Vikings are just absolutely phenomenal. They are brilliant. I loved them.
All right, excellent.
Yeah. excellent.
Anything else you would like to mention?
No, not really. Been
All right,
pretty boring, really. I've had my granddaughter this weekend for a change. Normally, she stays with Jay and Sam and that, but they've stayed here this weekend, so it's been nice change. So I've had a lot of attention from my little granddaughter Mia. So yeah, loved that. So been a busy weekend.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can move over to Kim. Kim.
Alrighty. Yeah, kind of same. Not really much going on. As you can tell, like I said, I am sick again. That's twice now this winter. So thank you, small tiny children, for bringing me your illness and leaving it here.
Just blame this on China. I mean, this is one thing I won't blame on you, Mark. I think we can blame China for every cold in the world.
Oh,
Right?
I'm sick of people posting bottles of Corona and then slumped over them saying they've got the coronavirus. That's getting a bit old, is that now?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I will be buying Corona today. It's like a Super Bowl tradition beer for us. And, honoring not only the Super Bowl, but Robin and his birthday, getting older. I just want to, make sure I have something from his country. All right. That went
you
over
go.
well. What's this about
yeah.
catching mice?
Well, I had to take a page out of your playbook, and it's not, what was it, moles? I think you were having a problem with. I have mice. Well, I don't have mice, but my porch has mice. So, I've had to set out live traps.
Okay.
Well, they're not really live traps. They're the little old, like, mouse traps, the flip them over to kill them, that sort of thing. Because, I'm not catching them suckers live and releasing them back out to my, outside.
Well,
that doesn't make sense. So,
in fairness, I caught it live and I just didn't check the trap for like a month. Oops.
there you go.
I started to smell it and I was like, oh, I should go check the trap.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, my brother had brought us a bag of corn to feed the horse. Well, apparently it must have been setting out in a barn or something, and little did we know it had critters with it. So I'm up to 4 mice now that I've caught over the last few weeks because I keep noticing there'd be little holes chewed in our bag of dog food. They wouldn't chew on anything else, but in the dog food there'd be little holes. So I'm like, okay, if there's a hole there, we've still got critters. So yeah, I'm up to 4 now.
Okay.
So
What are you using for the bait?
peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Okay. All right.
And a handy tip, because these little suckers are smart. They would eat the peanut butter off the trap without setting it off. And I got a handy tip for my brother-in-law. Put a piece of Scotch tape over it, so they have to work for it.
All right.
There you go. All right.
Yep, and that'll catch it. Although sometimes they will eat the peanut butter and the Scotch tape, because I've had 1 or 2 that didn't work, so I had to go and rebait the trap. But then eventually it caught them. So yes.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. Kraft American cheese. The really thin, absolutely processed.
Yep.
That is perfect mice bait.
Mhm. So so mice. I'm hoping this last one that I caught last night, hopefully, is the last one, but we will see. So other than that, on top of me being sick, I've had a cat sick. She had a cold. Her nose was running. Her eyes were running. I got her through that, but now she's throwing up. So I'm hoping it's just stress from having the dog in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So because she's been there before, and the vet's like, she's just stressed out. She'll calm down. No big deal. And I'm watching this video of what was that rat falling in the toad water?
Yeah, homemade traps. I'll send you the link, Kim. They might come in handy for you.
Yeah, there you go. Start videotaping those. Hey, look what I did. So
Rubber band and a plastic bottle, and you sorted.
Yeah. So other than that, just being sick and catching mice. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds terribly exciting.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry you were sick again. This year has just sucked for colds. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I cannot remember a year that has started off more difficult than this has for a lot of people. We are not alone, Kim. We are not alone in our sickness. Maybe a little bit because it's mostly in our heads. All right. Me. So I'm trying to think if I talked about the Witcher television series or not. But I did finally watch all of that. What a fantastic series. Really happy with it. I think they really stuck to, I won't say the source material because obviously they were using the book, which is the source material, or off.
It dropped. It'll start back up again automatically in a minute. It did it last week. Okay. I think there was 4 parts to the friggin' show when I did the highlight last week.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
go. Let me know when we're back on.
Yeah, we're back on. We're still recording anyway, so yeah.
I won't eat this.
And there's the roll.
Eat this. I won't. Anyway, okay. So the Witcher series. While we still have been and internet. By the way, apologies to anybody watching live. Mark did not pay his internet bill on time. Actually, okay, the truth is he paid it all in pennies. They're pissed off at him. Yeah. So they're now regulating his internet bandwidth. But the Witcher series, you were going to say, Mark, which I think is 100% accurate, that the Witcher series is following the book series, but they're taking a lot of visual cues from the video game, which I was happy to see because I think it brings some continuity between the game and the book. And for those of us that are watching it, it makes a lot of sense. And to all the critics that were, it's a horrible series, and they really, really came down on it, it's one of the most, I think, if not the most successful Netflix series ever. So take that, critics. Suck it. To quote a famous girlfriend of a football star. Now, from the good, I'm going to go to the bad. I started because, you have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime. Every once in a while, you see something on here like, I'll just watch something. So I fired up something during lunchtime. London Has Fallen was the movie I fired up. Man, I couldn't get through 10 minutes. It's so ridiculous. I mean, look, if this was based on reality, you guys in the UK are fucked because apparently your security is absolute shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like every police officer had been infiltrated by a terrorist. That was, I think, the funniest part. Is like you literally had probably like 100 different guys that were all dressed up in police officer uniforms suddenly attacking the other police, and nobody noticed this large influx of people that they had never seen before. But so I literally stopped it. I did not watch it any further. I was in Denver last week, the beginning of the week for work, and on the flight back, I experienced the worst turbulence I've had in probably 20 years. We were about 10 minutes outside of actually, say about 20 minutes, about 20 minutes outside of Los Angeles, and suddenly plane starts shaking a little bit, and the pilot comes on. He's like, everybody needs to take their seats, flight crew included, and next thing I know, we are bouncing all over the place, and the plane does one of those really big drops where like half the plane starts screaming. It's unsettling, to say the least. And I certainly was white-knuckled. I probably was one of those that was screaming as well. And it went on for another 5 minutes. You were just waiting for that next big drop. It never happened, though, thankfully. And we got into smooth air and flew into Los Angeles. And then the rest of my flight, because I had a connecting to Sacramento, was fine. Completely, and the funny part was, one of my coworkers was on a different flight coming into Los Angeles from Denver. Didn't have any turbulence at all. So it was a smooth, easy flight. So we just got lucky. And of course, it's the turbulence that brings me to this next story. And this is literally breaking news as we're on the podcast. It hit like earlier this afternoon. And that was that Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash, which I think he was down in like Baja, California, somewhere within the Mexico region. And he was there. Apparently, he and his daughter were killed. His 13-year-old daughter
yeah.
on board. Yeah, just tragic.
That's a bad deal.
Yeah, just really sad. So hearts go out to the family and obviously anybody else. You never like to hear things of that nature. And so, yeah, I'm here to bring the podcast down. All right, let's
You're doing it well.
Yeah, that's what I do. All right, let's shift some gears. Before we get into game time, Kim, real fast, anybody still sticking around in the chat, even though Mark is, on metered internet?
Yeah, Scott Stubby, Hardly Dan, was there Sumu's in there too? So, yeah, they're still here. So.
I've got my gigantic McDonald's Diet Coke. I love McDonald's for the simple fact you can get a Coke for $1. And I don't know why. It makes me happy.
Yeah, 'cause Coke. I mean, what?
Not that kind of Coke. Not that kind of Coke. All right, let's talk games.
I know
Mark.
that.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right, Kim, we are more than halfway through the month of January, which means we only have a little bit of time left to claim all of those games that we are happily paying for subscription services to get them free. So I think it would be a good time to remind people these are the games they can pick up if they would like to.
Alrighty. Your games with gold this month that you can still pick up as of right now are Styx, Shadows of Darkness, which is available now through the end of the month. Batman, the Telltale series, which is available the 16th through the 15th of February. Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, is available now through the end of the month. So, getting while getting good. PlayStation Plus games, Goat Simulator and Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. If you haven't got those, you can go get them now. Twitch Prime games, we have Anarchute, Ape Out, Dandara, Enter the Gungeon, Gato Roboto, Heave Ho. I swear some of the things they name these. Kingdom New Lands, a normal lost phone as opposed to an abnormal lost phone, which would probably be mine. Splasher, Witch Eye, and of course for you Stadia folks out there, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration edition and Thumper, which is not about a rabbit.
So a couple things that jump off on this. One, the Twitch Prime games seem like they have absolutely become garbage. Enter the Gungeon is the only one on that list that Ape Out.
Ape Out. Because I've heard Chinny talking about it, but yeah.
I've played Kingdom New Land, so that's pretty much the only one know that I. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing about that list excites me. And then Stadia. What's the over and under with the odds makers in Las Vegas that Stadia will offer up another Tomb Raider game next month?
Right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we will have some news Stadia related later. In the meantime, let's talk about the games we have been playing. Who would like to go first? Mark. Thanks for raising your hand. That's great.
We all jumped at one side, didn't we? So I mentioned I started it last week. Got a couple of hours in. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Rogue. So an old school type Assassin's Creed game compared to the recent Origins and Odyssey.
I was gonna say, was that the last one they put out for the 360?
Yes. This was the one that released on 360 and PS3 to compensate for people who didn't have the new gen because Black Flag had just come out.
Yep.
So this runs parallel to Black Flag sort of thing. Similar timeline.
Okay, I'm confusing this then. This is not the one that was on the PSP about the female.
No, that's Liberation.
Okay, yeah.
I've got that one too. That one's good too.
Yeah, I played that as well.
I've come to the conclusion there's a lot of Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
There really are.
This is one I haven't played. So I picked it up in a sale quite a while ago, and I think it's on Game Pass now anyway. So yeah, just made a start on it, and it's if you've played Origins and Odyssey, it is a step back. It is the old school controls where you hold the trigger down and all the buttons change and everything. It's got the old parry system on the combat and everything, and the smoke bombs and stuff. The Eagle Vision, the standard Eagle Vision, where everything just changes. You don't have your eagle above you anymore. So it's very old school, but it's like a comfy pair of slippers. It feels very warm and inviting to come back to that sort of thing. Because I've played that many of them in the past, 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, Black Flag, and all them lot. It's nice to go back a little bit. The remaster, they've done a good job to make it graphically nice on the Xbox One and PS4. Story's pretty decent as well. It's set in a similar time to Black Flag, so the real world stuff is in what we call Abstergo Entertainment. So when you do come out of the Animus, you're like an employee who's like playing a game, searching memories for research. So there's a little bit of that scenario going on, like on Black Flag. But yeah, the main character, Robin would love this because they're Irish. So yeah, you play Shane McCormack. Like in Black Flag, it's got that naval combat with the forward cannon, side cannons, the mortar. It's exactly the same as Black Flag for the naval combat, which is fine because that was really good. A lot of people enjoyed the naval combat. I did. I still do. It's quite a big world, really, to say it's a smaller game. I looked on justlongtobeat.com, whatever it is, and it gives it like 10 hours to beat as a quick run through. And I think I've got about 6 hours in it now already, and I've not hardly done much. I think I've just started sequence 3 and the 6 sequences. So
you know what that tells me, Mark? You need to play better.
Well, no, because I like exploring and doing all the side bits. When I see an icon on the map, and you know what Ubisoft games are like for icons on maps, I like to go see what it is and get all the viewpoints and everything. But yeah, really enjoying it. It's a good throwback to the classic Assassin's Creed games.
Okay, all right, excellent. Kim, let's talk. You've been dipping back into multiple older titles, and not a slight, because they're both fantastic titles.
Yes. I fired up. I'm still plugging away at The Witcher 3. And like Mark said with the icons, dear God, there's icons all over that map.
And
I've been trying to kind of clean up some secondary quests, and I'm working on the main quest, and I'm trying to ignore all those little icons, but it's kind of difficult. But I'm working on it because I'd like to get at least the main part of it done, so then I can go back and screw around and do all the other stuff. I just don't know how much of that is reliant on the main quest. Maybe not that much, so it may not, may not matter.
I can safely say none of the side quests are reliant on the main quest. I mean, you can mainline the main quest if you want.
Cool. It's good to know.
Kind of similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. It'll tell you what it is. Now I want to say there was one element within the mainline quest that you basically have to grind a little bit because you need to make sure your level is high enough to go into it.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, you don't get XP for killing things in Witcher 3, do you?
Right.
You get XP for completing missions, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get the high enough level to sort of like get through the main missions comfortably, you do need to do a few side missions. Well, I did.
I'm okay
anyway.
with that because I like doing the side missions.
Oh, yeah,
but,
they're great. Some of
yeah,
the
I'm
side-
only.
Yeah.
Thank God for small favors.
Are we back rolling, Mark?
We will be in a minute. So, yeah, you can't.
No, I take it back. My wife is dying.
All right. Yeah.
But everything for the podcast.
I'm supposed to be
right?
on.
Okay.
Supposed to be on 500 meg download, 40 meg upload, and since I upgraded from 300 meg, my connection's been shocking. I wish I'd have stayed on 300 now.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I signed a Black Friday deal for 12 months, didn't I? So.
Did they change out your hardware? Not to totally like diagnosis and interrupt Kim's thing about you know.
No, they didn't. No.
But maybe
switched,
that's part of the problem.
They switched. We did an update to the modem though to allow more download speed. So
Right.
I don't know.
Apparently,
They'll be getting another message later on after this podcast anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
goody.
So yeah, I was saying, I was trying to say that even the side missions you think are going to be short, then they become these massive story arches which last forever,
Right.
and they become really intertwined and elongated. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good. I loved Witcher
Yeah, because
3.
what is it? I just finished one for the serial killer in Novigrad, but now it looks like maybe I didn't catch the right guy because they're still having dead bodies show up that are
Yeah.
still similar to the guy that I caught. So apparently I'm not done with that one yet. So, but it's all good fun. I enjoy it. I think I enjoy it more than Tony does. The only part about it Tony likes is when I'm slicing up some guy and cutting his head off. But what can you do? So, yeah, Witcher 3. That's my goal this year. I'm going to try to get it finished because I've had it since it released and I'm still not done.
Yeah.
And I feel slightly ashamed for that. So,
You should. Shame.
I know, right?
Shame.
Shame on me. But anyway, other than that, Red Dead Redemption 2 is kind of the same deal. I've, of course, finished that one, but I'm going back and doing Easter eggs. As a matter of fact, last night I did the serial killer one. You know, the guy that was leaving pieces of the map in the guy's head?
Yeah.
I did that one last night. I finished it. Boy, that was creepy. Oh
yeah.
boy, let me tell you. But I went
never
back
did
and
that quest.
Yeah, I finished that one. Yeah.
missing out. You should have did that one. That was
That's where
satisfying.
there's like body parts, isn't there? There's a note
Oh
stuffed in
my
the
God,
mouth.
yes.
And so, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he scrawls in blood on the
Yeah.
rocks that, can you find me or whatever it is. Yeah, that thing was creepy because even there towards the end of it, I'm like, Tony, you might not want to watch this, but he did. So now the poor kid's probably going to have nightmares. So,
Good job, Aunt
yeah.
Tim. Good
I
job.
know, right? Just doing what I can do. So, yeah, so that one's been fun. So, yeah, just plugging away. Like I said, well, what was it? There's supposed to be a big update for Red Dead because I noticed last night now they have a photo mode in the main story.
Okay.
And like an actual photo, you can switch lenses and all sorts of stuff. And I was thinking that I read that they added some more story onto it, but I think it's just for John's part of the story. But I haven't went back to John's part of the story to find out. So
Okay.
we'll see. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. I don't know. I
Alright.
started COD, but it's Geralt and John Marston and Arthur Morgan. I'm sorry. COD's just gonna have to sit off in a corner. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you guys want to play multiplayer, that's about it for me. So
I need to get back in and play some multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's I have been kind of on a offline kick, if you will, of playing a lot of single player type stuff. And it's just
Yep.
because my schedule and also being sick, I was not in the mood for playing games for quite a while.
I hear you. Yep.
I did fire back up The Witcher 3 actually on the heels of the Netflix series, and I fired up Blood and Wine, got into playing some of that. It really is such a great game. It still
It
holds
really
up.
is.
Yeah. And speaking of other games, so you mentioned COD. I actually fired up PUBG for a very quick moment because they released the Kraken map, which is basically the smallest map they've ever built. It's a 2x2 map. It is designed for really just instant combat. They do limit it to 60 players, which I thought was interesting. It's not 100 players, but I don't think the map could support 100 players. Also, this also it could be part of them saying, "Hey, this dwindling player base. We're trying to maybe create some smaller maps that can support a smaller base size." but I think 100 on that map would be overkill on top of it all. So 60 feels still like there's a lot of players on top of one another. But I mean, you can get to any point in the island from any spot where you jump out of the plane. Doesn't matter. And action comes quick and fast. I think unlike other PUBG maps where you kind of get by not just with your shooting skills, but also your tactical skills, this game feels less tactical and more like you need to be good on the gun. And if you're good with the PUBG shooting system, then you're going to perform better in the Kraken map. At least the early thoughts. They've added some destructible environments to it, which is kind of unique and different. And I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably talked about this a little ways back, but I'm curious to see where the destructibility goes. I would love to see them introduce that maybe into a revamp of Miramar, or I know actually right now they're redoing the snow map. So I know that they've taken that offline. So right now, Kraken at least on the test server, that's the snow map is not available, and so I'm kind of hoping they're going to be revamping that map a little bit, maybe take some of this new stuff into consideration. But the main game I have been playing is Jurassic World Evolution. It's on Game Pass. I downloaded it a while ago. I stare at it every time I should play this. I should play this. I should play this. And Phil had sung its praises. Oh yeah, Phil had sung its praises, said it's a really good game, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna finally fire it up. So I really like this game. If you are new to sim worlds and kind of the sim building worlds, so something like Surviving Mars or not Civilization, but the simulation games where you are building your world, Sim City, you're creating a city, you're creating environments and systems to support it. This is actually a nice ease into it game. The campaign starts you off on an island that's pretty easy. It's not overly harsh to your park. And it walks you through a lot of the steps in terms of how to do things. And, the controls are nice. Visually, it's gorgeous. And I love actually getting up close and being able to see, the dinosaurs, real close up. And that's nice because oftentimes a lot of these sim games, you have kind of a far off view and you can zoom in a little bit, but you never really get detail. Here, you can zoom right up in on the dinosaurs and go into photo mode, and they look fantastic. And so that all scratches this great itch for me. Play-wise, I feel like the mechanics of the game it's got some depth to it, but it's not overly deep. So again, this is kind of why I'm saying if you're wanting to test the waters with a game like this is probably the good game to do it with. Also, the pacing, the timing of the game. Oftentimes, when you're playing a real-time strategy game similar to this, things happen and they start kind of escalating really quickly, and oftentimes people start panicking about, I've got so many systems to juggle. What do I do? I never get that sense in this game. I never get a sense of like I'm overwhelmed by all the systems and time. Now, that's a pro, but it's also a con. And what I mean by that is one thing I wish this game would allow you to do is actually speed up time.
Oh,
There's almost every
RTS
game. Yeah, almost every RTS game you play out there usually has a some kind of mechanic that'll allow you to speed up time, slow it down. There's none of that in this game. At least I haven't found it, not on the console version. And so as I'm playing through, I was at my second island, and I just gotten to this point where I was really kind of screwed until I could make more money. And the money was slowly trickling in. And this would be a point where I would love to be able to speed the game up to just kind of get to the point where I could do my next thing. And I couldn't. I just had to sit there and wait it out. So that was probably the biggest con for me. Just not being able to manipulate the time. You can pause time, and go into menus, and that pauses everything, and so that's perfectly fine. But there's just no way to speed things up, which I thought was a little odd. especially in this type of game. Usually, you figure you'll be able to speed some time up if you need to. But yeah, I highly recommend it. If you have Game Pass, it's a no-brainer. Download it, check it out. If you are dying to try a kind of like a sim building game that has a different spin to it, Jurassic World Evolution it's great.
Have you had any animals escape their enclosures yet?
Yeah, a couple times actually.
Because I saw on, I was looking on the Xbox Live community feed thing, like activity feed, and Phil had done a screenshot of a load of visitors to the park who were just all scattered around on the floor, dead, and this big like raptor just walking away, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah. Well, and so it, like in the early tutorial section, it walks you through that very situation.
Right.
And then later on, I had a situation of a storm hit. It broke one of my fences, and the dinosaur got out through the fence. And so you have steps to do to corral the dinosaur and then bring them back into the pen, that kind of thing. But yeah, just overall, it's got just a nice, unique enough spin on the world building game, sim games, that I just really enjoyed my time with it. It's almost kind of it's that break, it's that kind of cleansing game compared to all the other stuff I usually play, which is usually first person or third person shooter stuff. This is drastically different, and the pacing's different, so I can just chill. So yeah, enjoying it. And that is me done. Yeah. So I hear we might have a quiz.
We do, yeah. It'll be your first time on this particular quiz. Let's do a jingle. I don't know if you guys got Blankety Blank in America.
Nope,
No.
never. I think we need to actually just cut this. It means nothing.
Right. Well, talking of BBC and everything and the iconic show, this is not stolen from the iconic BBC show in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, this is the Overseas Connection Blankety Blank quiz. I'll give you a popular character from a video game, and then a well-known quote from that character. But one of the words will be blanked out, and you just have to tell me what that word is. Now, the guys last week struggled with this, so I've done a multiple choice this time, just to make it a little bit easy for you.
Well, and also I probably should have my WhatsApp up now that we're in the quiz.
You really should have your WhatsApp up. Yeah.
And I should have my quiz document open as well, because otherwise I'm not going to know what I'm talking about yet. Oh, we're so professional.
All going to plan.
So professional.
Totally. All right. I have my WhatsApp open, WhatsApp web open up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for this nonsense. Let's go blankety blank, blankety blank, blankety blank.
Right. So the first question, because I'm going to put it on screen as well, when I find the right...
Helps me not at all, since I'm not looking at the screen.
Question 1. Let's get it on the screen.
Question 1.
There we go. So, Javik from Mass Effect 3. He said, "Stand in the ashes of 1 trillion dead souls and asks the ghosts if honour matters. The blank is your answer." Stand in the ashes of 1 trillion dead souls and asks the ghosts if honour matters. The blank is your answer. Is the blank A, screaming? Is it B, my phone going off? Is it B, and again, it's you guys with WhatsApp.
Yeah.
It's WhatsApp desktop.
I was used to the old way. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I have multiple choice.
Is it B, silence, or is it D, C, darkness?
Is it DC?
Is it
Oh.
Is it DC? Is it C, darkness? I've got an answer from both of you, and you are both correct. It is silence. So well done.
Well done. Well, and for the record, we both, I believe, shot that answer to you without the multiple choice.
Wow.
Believe it or
I wonder if I should not give a multiple choice then.
No,
Yeah.
you should get definitely.
Yeah.
Do the
I'm
multiple
okay with the
choice.
multiple choice, but just to just put Kim and I in a better light than those dickheads from last week, we actually got one right
Yeah.
on our own merits.
Yeah.
Take that, you twats.
Right. I didn't have to do this last week. Record the scores.
Yes.
So Greg and Kim, one each. Well done. Right. Okay. Right.
This is what happens when you're not old like Robin. You remember things.
Yeah. So we have got question 2, and it's from Psycho in Borderlands 3, and he said, "Bring me a bucket and I'll show you a blank. Bring me a bucket and I'll show you a blank." So is a blank A, a good time, B, gun, or C, a bucket? A good time, a gun, or a bucket? What did Psycho say? I've got an answer from Greg. And Kim's typing. And an answer from Kim. Right, so Kim says a good time, and Greg says a bucket. And one of you is correct. That person is Greg. It is a bucket. Bring me a bucket and I'll show you a bucket. That's what Psycho said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
don't have to-
the best part is you froze with a smile on your face. So
Right.
we're like, oh, look at him. He's so happy and he doesn't even know he froze.
Right, the phrase is Virgin Media's broadband sucks donkey dick.
Hold
No.
on. Yes, it does. Don't
right.
upgrade your broadband.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'll start again. Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed 2 said, "Wanting blank does not give you the right to have it. Wanting blank does not give you the right to have it. Is that revenge, something, or peace?"
All right, so I say it one more time, please. The phrase and then the options, please.
Wanting blank does not give you the right to have it. Is it revenge? Is it something, or is it peace? I've got an answer from Greg. And I've got an answer from Kim. Right, you both said revenge. You're both wrong, actually. It is something. Wanting something does not give you the right to have it.
I was torn between that one and revenge.
Yeah.
That was...
I knew it
Yeah.
wasn't peace. I
Yeah.
knew it wasn't peace
Yeah.
because, honestly, if you want peace, you should have peace.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get peace. But, yeah, okay. All right. Fair enough.
So
I'll take my 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points for Greg and 1 point for Kim. Yay! Well done.
Just dunked on you, Kim. Take that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but who still got the most points? According
fair.
to the thing. Yeah.
Well, no, we're starting your leaderboard.
Well, you didn't do that, so there you go.
There you go.
I'm still going by my 34. So there you go.
I like it. All right.
I don't give a shit.
Mark, thank you for
It's
that.
early.
That was nice. That was fun.
That's why it's
I don't know
something
what
different.
the problem with the guys last week was.
Yeah.
It seems
They're just
straightforward,
rubbish,
easy
aren't they?
enough. Pretty much. Pretty much. All right. Maybe we should play a news jingle. We do have a couple pieces of news to talk about.
Yep.
Here is the fucking news.
Just for the record, I always enjoy that news intro. There's something about that. It's just nice. Yeah. Okay. So first piece of news came down, and we'll talk about this one because YouTube. Apparently, Google has struck a deal with Activision to allow YouTube to stream Call of Duty and Overwatch leagues in 2020, and they will be the exclusive streaming channel to stream those games and contests. So YouTube will be Activision Blizzard's exclusive worldwide streaming partner, except for in China, apparently. For both leagues this year, along with Hearthstone events and other esports endeavors. So, on the surface, don't care. But I started to think about what this could potentially foreshadow for Google and Stadia. You know, we talked about Stadia having, their struggles coming out, and they don't have any exclusives per se. They've been releasing older games that have been on other systems. The roadmap for their exclusives, they talk about they have 10. There's a knock on my microphone. Sorry, Mark. 10 timed exclusive deals in the coming year. What if this is part of their battle plan to just lock down exclusivity for viewing and also maybe where you can play these games? It just feels like this is maybe how they're going to carve out their unique proposition that you can only play their games on their system. And they're not going to offer it up other places. And things like streaming, God knows, when you watch these events now, you're going to get hammered with Stadia advertisements. That's going to happen. I don't know. This on the surface, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I was like, I wonder if this just has kind of bigger implications on truly what Google's battle plan, their roadmap plan is. Because I'm also of the mindset, I don't think we're going to see an actual Google, funded and developed game, AAA game, mind you. Maybe they can get a small AA game out quickly, but I don't think we're going to see anything AAA level unless they purchase a studio for at least 2 years, if not longer. Because let's face it, development on games takes at least a year, if not, it takes 2 years to have something of quality. And they just started their studio this past summer. So, there's just no way they're going to have anything AAA level ready as an exclusive. So,
and Twitch are feeling the pinch big time here because as well as YouTube putting competition against them, they've got Mixer buying a lot of the big streamers moving from Twitch to Mixer. So Twitch are under a lot of pressure at the moment.
Well, and when you are the top dog, and I'm sure Sony can also, talk to this. When you're the top dog, everybody's gunning for you, so you start to feel the pressure from up underneath. I mean, Twitch still feels somewhat untouchable, but deals like this, that definitely takes a big chunk out of Twitch in terms of just their accessibility. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this impacts Twitch, if it impacts them, or if they start cutting their own exclusivity deals for certain events. Like an Evo or something to that effect. Let's see. Okay, the other piece of news, and this was one that was just personally interesting to me more so than probably anything else. Project Mara. So Ninja Theory, they had announced, their Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice 2 game, and of course they had Bleeding Edge that was already coming out, but they announced a third project. The reading on this, Ninja Theory is developing an experimental new game called Project Mara, and it will explore new ways of storytelling through a grounded representation of mental terror. And so we don't, per the article, we don't know when you'll be able to play Project Mara, but the title will share at least two similarities with the studio's 2017 breakout Hellblade. First, Ninja Theory says a small team has developed the project, and I believe it's around 20 people that are developing this project. Second, the game will feature mental illness as a significant aspect of its design. And I believe they are working with this in partnership with, oh gosh, now it's escaping me. There's a organization that deals with mental illness and bringing it to light and talking about it and trying to help people cope with it. So that's kind of where this project is coming from. But a little bit surprising. Nobody expected there to be a third game coming from Ninja Theory. Certainly, Microsoft money seems to be helping them out quite a bit. I know the Hellblade team and the Bleeding Edge teams more or less have doubled in their original sizes. Hellblade probably even more so. I think they've tripled the size of the team on that. But they're still relatively small in the big scheme of things. So it'll be really interesting. I'm very curious to see the quality of the stuff. And I think for Project Mara, they're saying the same gal that was from Hellblade, they're going to use her within Project Mara as well.
She was great in the first Hellblade game.
Yeah, she really was. Okay, that is it for the news. Kim, why don't we talk about some games, new games coming out? We're finally hitting the stride.
All right, well, they're finally putting some things out. Alrighty, your new releases for January 25th through February 1st are Journey to the Savage Planet for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on the 28th. Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on the 28th as well. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, which I did not know was coming out.
Explains why the
PlayStation
first
4.
game's come out on Game Pass then.
Yep.
And Xbox One on the 28th as well. Warcraft 3 Reforged for the PC on the 28th. Coffee Talk for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Mac on the 29th. Through the Darkest of Times for the PC on the 30th. Scroll, make sure that's the last one. I'm not sure. Yep, and that's it. Those are your new releases for this week.
It is funny to see something actually coming out on the Mac.
I know, right?
I know you guys have like Apple Store games now, but you just don't see big, like kind of more mainstream games being developed for the Mac or Apple platforms. Unless you're Fortnite, of course. All right. Let's talk about victories achieved. Mark, actually, you haven't really done too much talking. I mean, your internet obviously is subject to.
A lot of breathing.
Yeah.
But let's talk about victories achieved.
So, victories achieved is a... No, I'm only joking. Victories achieved is our competition where you can win money. You can win real money, hard cash. All you have to do is when you complete a game, you send a selfie with the credits in the background, and you tweet that off to @OC_podcast. And every quarter, you will be drawn out of a hat to win £15 or $20 in either PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, or maybe even probably Stadia. I don't know if they do them yet. You can choose whichever format you want your gift card in. Just recently, Gunslinger X1983, who is in the chat, Tom, he won £15 Xbox Live, which he's putting towards Jedi Fallen Order.
Fantastic game. Well done.
Yeah, we've also had Scott Stubby win in the last 12 months, Dave O'Matic, and RCGC. So, those who have completed games this week and who are in the draw for the next drawing, which will be end of March, Greg, is it?
Yes,
yeah,
March 31st.
So we have Infected Psych, who completed, we've just been talking about it, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, fantastic game. UK Steffi finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Danok TQ finished Battlefront 2. Gunslinger 1983, he also finished Battlefront 2. Filthy finished XCOM 2. Hardly Dan finished Red Dead Redemption 2. Caliburn M finished God of War. And Danok TQ also finished Final Fantasy 2. Some fantastic games in that list there. And all you guys get this special sound clip for doing that.
You all have a victories achieved. Victories achieved. You have one. Victories achieved.
We may have to update that for the new decade. I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No. Look, we love the victories achieved contest, and I just want to put this disclaimer out there. We do this free of any ask of our community. We love our community. We do this because we like having fun with everybody, playing games, having a good time. It's our way of kind of just further kind of giving back. No Patreon. We're not begging for money from you guys. We're not doing anything like that. This is always going to be a 100% free podcast to the public. We are for the people, by the people, of the people. Remember that, people. We are for you.
So many people.
A lot of people. All right. Here we go. It's time for us to kind of wrap it up. A quick show today. Not a lot going on, obviously, within the industry yet. Although I suspect, rumors are, in February, we should be getting the PlayStation reveal event.
Yeah. They did it last year, didn't they?
Yeah. That's when they did it last year. That's what everybody anticipates this year. So we should hopefully have some news coming in about that. We did have, I guess, a Twitter screenshot of the back of the Xbox Series X console. I didn't think this is newsworthy, to be perfectly honest. It showed that it had HD ports. It showed it had a power plug. It showed it had a Ethernet cable port.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all things.
I was
surprise.
more
Pretty much
excited when I saw the Wisher version of the new Xbox. So that was more exciting to me than seeing the back of the ports. So
Yeah, I will say, I'm kind of hoping even the PlayStation also does this, where they have a designed console that supports these custom skins and custom looks, because I think that can be, I kind of loved the interchangeable plates on the old 360. I know it wasn't a huge thing, but it was something. So let's get that creativity flowing again. So anyway, look, if you've made it this far, thank you. We really appreciate you listening so far. In fact, we appreciate you so much that Kim is going to read off everybody's names once again, just because she knew I was going to ask her to do this, and so she's totally prepared.
I sure did. I am so prepared. I'll tell you what. Anyway, our users today, our listeners, whatever you want to call it, they say users on Twitch, and that just sounds funky, but whatever. We have Aiden.
Well, we are like a drug. We are like a drug, so the users are using us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Out of the amounts of babes. Commander Root, Epic Wall, Gunslinger X, Hardly Dan, Nerd Allegiance, Scott Stubby, and Sumu99. So.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you all for listening in. Again, you can catch us next Sunday. There's going to be a different crew next Sunday because Kim and I are going to be watching the Super Bowl, guaranteed.
Damn straight.
And if nothing else, you'll have Mark and his wonky internet to comfort you as we broadcast. 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. on Easter Island, and 7 a.m. in Australia now that they're no longer on fire. Twitch.tv, Mixer.com, YouTube.com. That's where we're at. Come watch us live. Come be part of the chat. Maybe we'll even have questions we can ask next week of the audience. That's always an idea. Food for thought. Everybody, thanks again. Put up some iTunes reviews. Put up YouTube reviews. Wherever you can review us, we would love a review. Even if it's maybe a review you post in your local newspaper. I think we want to hear from you is what we should probably be playing right about now.
You like us. We like you. See where I'm going with this? Follow us on Twitter at OC_podcast. Check us out on Facebook, fb.ocpod.com, or email us, podcast@ocpod.com. We'd love to hear from you.
I expected some noise and nothing.
I know, I was waiting for it. But
Did Mark freeze? Nope, he didn't. Okay.
I forgot, to be honest.
And so it's,
I'm out of touch.
Yeah. All Mark's fault. It's back. It's back. All right. Look, I think we can safely say it's time to close the show. So, Kim, shout outs. You start.
Shout outs. Just, I don't know. Hopefully it warms up this week. Hopefully the snow melts away eventually. Hopefully I don't catch any more mice. Shout out to you guys. It was fun. Hopefully this cold goes away and I no longer sound like I'm talking through my nose. Other than that, I guess, Mark, how about you?
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the rest of the hosts. Shout out to all the people in the chat and everyone who downloads the episodes, keeps listening every week, the loyal listeners. Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. And I'll let you take us out, Greg.
All right. Well, thank you to both of you for making the show and actually caring enough to be on the show. A big shout out to obviously the listeners. We really do appreciate you guys listening in and joining us every week. It's a big reason why we do the show, and all kidding aside, it really is. Shout outs to Robin. Man, is he old. Holy crap. Yeah. Happy birthday, Robin. We do love you, regardless of your senility. Let's see. Mark, get ready to play the outro music. Yeah. But before you do, just let's end it on this note. Go 49ers.
Go Chiefs.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.